All right, say it again.
Watch the last one at the bar.
Y'all subscribe to the Last Ones at the Bar boxing channel, man. We got some boxing fans out there.
Last Ones at the Bar. Exclusively folks about the sport of boxing.
Yes, sir. We back for another big week. Last Ones at the Bar. Again, my name is Wilton Henry, and I'm accompanied by, my guy, Lavelle Jackson. Lavelle, how we doing today, good brother? You just told me you a little under the weather, man. How you feeling today?
Yeah, what up, though? Well, I'm kind of recovering, man. I had a little cold. It was interesting because at first, number one, that's why I don't like hanging around in big groups and all that, man. Because people be touching you, man, and all that, or they be blowing them germs on you and stuff, man. That's why you gotta stay sanitized up. But at first I thought it was a little bit of sinuses. So, just as a precaution, I started taking that zinc. For some reason, you take those zinc tablets for a vitamin. It does help move it faster because I'm recovering faster. But I feel like it makes it worse. Like it's pushing it harder through your system. I feel like that's what it does. So yesterday it was a good thing. It wasn't a lot of boxing that I cared about on last night because I started getting real hot, man. I was running a temperature or something, man. I didn't check my temperature, but I went to bed early. I was writing a lot of stuff, down for today, and I fell asleep while I was doing it on the couch. I went to bed, man, and I feel a little better now. But been resting up,
Oh man, you fought it through. You made it to the episode, but man, I'm starting to think you're a little bit like Anthony Davis, man. You got these little nagging injuries, you know what I'm saying? A little sickly,
No, man, I show up though, man. I ain't sitting on the bench.
You ain't on the bench. I got coffee all on my beard.
I'm like the Guanu, man. I don't feel well, so anything I do, man, I'm blaming on that.
Oh, okay, yeah, but yeah, you're a little under the weather, huh? But like I said, man, appreciate you rocking out as usual. Have you ever had COVID, or if I don't know if that's something you want to share on air,
There were times where I thought I had COVID, and I went and got tested, and I tested negative. So I suspect that I might have had it earlier before before they started coming out with the test, like on the market, like in the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that there is another test where you could take that could determine whether you ever had it. So that's something that I'm gonna look into and get that.
Gotcha.
But I've been my vaccination is up, whether people believe in it or not. I did get vaccinated. So I'm up to date with that.
Oh, that's what's up, man. Same with me. I've never tested positive. I think that one time I came back from Colombia, I may have had COVID because like a week later, I was out of there, man. I was feeling real shaky, but when I got tested, I tested negative. So, but again, man, glad you're having a good weekend, man. Mine was a great weekend, man. I took off on Friday. Actually, I left work halfway through the day, so I took a half a day on Thursday. I met up with somebody in Baltimore. Had a really good time out there. And then Friday and Saturday was nice as well. Yesterday I was hanging out with this young lady from the Bay. She said she's from San Francisco. So we got the chop. She got money. Well, it's the way she talks. She talk, them people from the Bay, they got to talk that good game. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, she's around here at the Hilton down the street. But anyway, that's her stuff. That's what she had. So what I did was I ordered the same thing, but I brought it home. So yeah, that was a delicious meal over there at San Antonio's. Again, next week in Costa Rica, And then, like I said, that's what that right there looks like. Man, I'm gonna get to that in 1 second. What I do want to do is I want to go to the chat real quick because we got our guy, the man, not the myth, but we got Shelton in the chat. I'm gonna shoot that link down there to the good brother just in case he wants to pop on. While I say that, I want to shout out in this corner with Ty. You know, Ty was on last night. I told you yesterday I was moving and grooving, so I missed his broadcast when they were talking about William Zapa and Maxie Hughes. I saw that earlier this morning when I started researching the results of the William Zapa fight. Shout out to Ty, man. He does really good work over there. But I do want to start off with this topic right here. And Ryan Garcia, lately, he's been acting very erratic, and it seems like it's getting worse and worse. It's to the point where the commission, they want to run tests on him. And like I said last week, I don't know this, but I've seen it in Boxing News 24 this week after I discussed this last week when I was saying the way he's acting, he's not doing himself any favors by acting like this in terms of people wanting to purchase tickets, especially people who are coming from other locations. It's like it could very well be Barbosa or somebody else, and that's what I'm not paying for. And I don't know how well you're going to perform if you really are engaging in the things that you say that you're engaging in. Now, I put up here, why is Ryan Garcia acting so erratic? I believe I know why. And here's the situation, right? So, again, I'm the type of person who I observe people. And when I do, it's like, you factor in, okay, he could be acting like this because of this, but then he's a smart kid. So when I look at the end results of why he may be acting the way he's acting, some of those things don't make sense. It wouldn't make any sense for him to do it because he's far too bright to do those things. He's not just out here drinking and smoking weed and stuff like that. I don't even know if he's doing that right now. I think this is all an act. And some of the things that he's saying, I just seen him on a telecast. He's acting like he's a prognosticator when it comes to the future. He's trying to tell this dude, about his life. He's acting like he's Miss Cleo and all of this type of stuff. It's real zany. Now, again, he's not doing this stuff just out the blue. It wasn't until they had that press conference and he started hyperventilating, that's when he started to do all of these erratic things that you've never seen Ryan Garcia do going into a fight. So now, why is he doing it? Ryan Garcia is doing this because he's having a built-in excuse. See, if Ryan Garcia, he feels like in his heart, if I lose this fight, the Ryan Garcia that who's able to have a huge event in boxing, where I had the big event with Tank Davis. I can have a pretty big event with Devin Haney because of the fact that Devin Haney is hot right now. We have history. He doesn't really, he doesn't want to lose to that guy, Devin Haney, because of the fact that that's going to end all of this. He's on par with those guys. You won't see that anymore, especially in his mind. It's like, okay, how would I be able to, come back from this and be able to be marketable enough to really where people care? Like he's scared. That's what he's worried about now. So then it's like, why is he doing it now? Because this is the only way for him to already have a built-in excuse. Because eventually down the line, all he has to say is he wasn't in his right mind. So now when I'm on my comeback route campaign moving forward, then I can possibly position myself to be able to have a big fight where now this is really Ryan Garcia now. This is my ability to come back and that comeback story is always something that people buy into. And that's the reason why he's doing this stuff right now. Last thing I'm going to say, I've seen this happen participating in sports. I remember, I'm not going to say any names. I participated in high school on the 4th ranked team in the nation. We had players on our team who were ranked very high for their position. I'm not going to say anything because I love those dudes to death. But one person in particular who was on my team I recall him. We were about to play this scrimmage game against this other team. Now he's ranked in the top 10 in the United States at his position. We were about to play a team that has about the number 15 ranked person. I don't know if they had him in the same at the same position. It was close because one of them played kind of power forward-ish, and he was more of a small forward. But in that game, they were going to be probably facing off against each other. So do you know what he did, my teammate, as we were about to play in this scrimmage game? Now, mind you, we rank real high, and we don't want anybody in the city thinking that they can mess with us. I don't care for scrimmage or anything like that. We don't want to have anybody having any bragging rights. So what he was saying when he came inside the locker room, I think he drove there and we all rode the bus. When he gets in the locker room, he was like, man, I'm high, man. He said, I might have smoked too much or something like that. I'm mad as I don't know what. I'm like, man, you right now? You high? Like, we about to play then. Like, it's time to go ahead and get busy. If you was going to do that stuff like some other time when it's not going to impact your play. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need you right now. And you need to distinguish why you're the number 5 player into this number 15 player. I don't want it to be like after the game is over, dude getting busy, because he used to get busy. And then it's like your excuse is, oh, man, I was high. No. Again, to me, that's what Ryan Garcia is doing in this situation, because if he gets smoked, then it's like, I wasn't in my right mind. I need to get help. And I'm going to go ahead and get that help, and I'll be back. And then he can try to position himself again in the future to be one of the big players in boxing. What say you, Vail? What you think, man? You think that might be plausible?
It's possible. I can see it. I can see you being right about that. But me personally, I don't think that's really the case. I can see that happening. I just think that you have a kid that's dealing with pressure and mental illness, and that's not immune to being bright. Some people they deal with that, and I think it'll come out in this way. I feel like there are reasons why I think he is going off the deep end. One, why would Golden Boy actually have another fighter, Arnold Barbosa, waiting in the queue if this was just the act? Now, I wouldn't put anything past a billion, a $1 billion company like Golden Boy to pull some stuff like that. I wouldn't. But that's too much for Arnold Barbosa to be playing ball with, with Garcia. I think we'll see, if he gets in that ring, what's going to happen when he gets in that ring. I know that I predicted that Devin would stop him because Ryan wouldn't be up to par. But now my prediction, I think he's not going to make it. I think he's going to pull out this fight. I really do. I think his people are going to pull him out. And that will tell more that he just wasn't ready and prepared. And you know what? And hopefully the kid gets better. When these things happen, I see your face, Will, but hopefully, I don't know what's going on in his head, but we talk about aliens and all that, man. You need to settle down and just be a fighter. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? I want to make an apology on this forum. I'll make a public apology and I'm gonna apologize to Amir Khan, because I used to always say, I used to always, speak his name with Ryan Garcia's name and call Ryan Amir Khan Garcia. Man, that's disrespectful to Amir Khan, because Khan at least showed up in fighting. We knew that, sometimes he appeared overconfident or sometimes delusional or looking for those big money fights, somewhat like Ryan. But at least Amir Khan showed a Olympic level heart, Olympic level. I'm not trying to just sell a fight. I won't do these things or say something dumb. I'm gonna adhere to the faith that I have. I'm not gonna be out here clowning. So, and with Ryan Garcia, I was thinking about who could I compare him to, and I can't even do that to. It'll be wrong for me to even call him Ryan Adrian Broner Garcia. You know why? Because at least Adrian Broner won some titles before he started going off the deep end. This dude hasn't even dominated one weight class yet. Not even won a title in a weight class yet. Probably a minor title, but not a world title. So Garcia, hopefully, he gets himself together, because he's a talented guy, very marketable. We know he's marketable and charismatic. But right now, I think he should be focusing on working on that right hand. That's what he should be working on. Is focusing on working on that right hand, just like De La Hoya and Miguel Cotto, who are left hand. They had great jabs and great left hooks. The first thing they did when they lost is add some repertoire, and they start working on their right hands. They start getting better. This dude needs to stop relying on his left hand. Stop trying to whatever he's doing. I think he needs better people around him. And just like I said, this fight is not going to happen.
Do we need help or do we not need help? If he does need help, then he needs to pull out. If he doesn't need help, then he's going to be what he's going to be, because the fight is April 20th. So whatever it is, I don't even understand how if they're serious about this dude doing all this, then what is Derrick James doing? Like, if he's really doing all this type of stuff as his trainer, dude, I'm done with you, man.
It's 5 weeks
doing all this type of stuff. You really over there drinking, man? You better go on up out of here, man. You're not serious. And somebody
like 5 weeks away.
I was his promoter. I'm like, dude, you drinking? Man, you need to get another promotional company, man, because we not dealing with that.
They tried. He was bad mouthing them, man. He bad mouth Golden Boy, and he rightfully so to some extent, because they did leave him out the altar, as you said. But the truth gonna come out if this is Ryan Garcia.
Right. This is. I'm sorry, sir. You have anything on this show?
Yeah, what up, show, man?
Hey, what's up, Val?
Yes.
Hey, up top, you Will, right?
Yes, sir.
Will, I'm in line with you, brother. I'm in line with you. He's building up a ready-made excuse for when he gets mollywopped. Because the difference in this fight, to me, and this is just to me, it's not the antics of Ryan. It's not all that other fluff that we looking at and all this post on. It's not that. The difference between the two fighters is that Devin is disciplined and Ryan is not. That's what I see.
That's the biggest difference.
Devin is not the most talented out of those four guys that they falsely labeled the four kings. But Devin is the most disciplined out of all four.
Mm-hmm.
And that discipline is going to take Devin farther than any of them.
And in addition to what you're saying, Devin appears to add more little wrinkles to his game. He has a little bit more like innate ability to be able to take away somebody's best features and that sort of thing. Ryan Garcia, from the time that he's come on the scene to the time now, everything you're looking for the left hook. It's like the same thing. But outside of that, like, I don't know any other wrinkle that he's added that is like something that's beneficial. Like that shoulder roll is not it. It's like somebody gonna knock him out if that's what he's trying to add to his repertoire. Unless he continues.
And do you know why Devin is able to take bits and pieces from here and there and add it to his game and change his game? Because of his father. Because his father had went to this trainer and that trainer and that trainer and that trainer. And Devin is one of the most important things that you have to be if you're going to be a world-class fighter. Devin is teachable.
Mm-hmm.
He learns these things. He works with Bud. He works with Breadman. He works with anybody. He works with Big Floyd. He works with anybody. He's trying to learn. He's teachable. And his game is steadily evolving and he's growing into his body. And Devin is going to be a problem for any of these dudes. I don't see any of these dudes beating Devin because whatever they bring to the table, I believe Devin will be able to adjust to it.
And what do you fellas think about what I'm saying? If he's really doing this, what is it saying about Derrick James, man? Like you would continue to train somebody who's doing that? I can't see.
Didn't even check into Derrick James yet. I'm not sure because sometimes fighters will train with their minor trainers and then check in like the last 4 weeks and today the head trainer. Has he even checked in? What has Derrick James even said about this?
Val, you trying to make excuses for this guy. I've been listening to you.
I think you
make excuses for this guy. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I think you excuses for this guy. This guy, I'm not gonna make excuses for somebody that's disrespectful to Amir Khan. That I used to call him Amir Khan.
Yeah, I got you. But this guy is undisciplined. He does his own thing. Nobody can train him. He's one of these new kids where you have to work with him. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the problem with these guys today, why they can't be compared to the all-time greats, because all of the all-time greats had trainers where this is my gym, you coming in here, and this is what we gonna do. This is what we gonna work on. Well, now you don't have trainers anymore. You don't have teachers in sport. You have coaches that'll come in and let you run if you feel like it, let you swim if you feel like it. Oh, what do you want to do today? That don't work in boxing, not in big time boxing.
Listen, man,
I don't think it works.
Imagine Michael Jackson and Jackson 5 saying, well, Dad, we don't really want to practice today. Yeah. Come on, man. Somebody got to put their foot down. But we talked about that, man. I certainly appreciate you fellas' thoughts on that.
Yes,
it's just kind of hurt me to see this dude do this over and over, and he's messing up the sport, man. We can't have dudes like this who with such a high profile. And like I said, really, at the end of the day, he's messing up his own money because you're going to have some people like myself. Remember, Phil, I sent information to you thinking about getting tickets to the fight. Like, the more and more this goes on, it's like, man, I would be a dang on fool to be, messing up my weekend and going out there for nothing. You understand what I'm saying?
You ain't going out for nothing. You're going to go out there for Haney versus Barbosa.
Well, let me ask you fellas this. Let me ask you guys this. You got two guys, right, who built their fan base. Both of their fan bases on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you take that fight to New York?
Oh, because they got the UFC thing. UFC kicking their tail. They got that big UFC.
Somewhat. And I think Ryan brought this up previously, talking about somehow in New York, it's their commission won't allow you to won't allow marijuana. It's illegal.
But I don't think I don't think that's the reason why on the 13th. If you look up the extravaganza that they have the week before this fight, that's the reason why they don't want to have the fight there.
UFC 300. I hear what you're saying.
Yep, and then Canelo fights not too long after that, so they might be better off having a fight out there on the East Coast just on the strength of that. But it makes more sense since both guys.
And if you didn't know, last week the UFC had an event in Vegas. Their gate was 14 million.
That's what I'm saying. Like
last week.
And that gate last week, or that fight last week, I just saw a little bit of it, the excitement of it. Like, this dude knocked this dude out. Then they'd be like, oh, he's about to fight here. And it's just like everything is just crunk. Like with boxing, you see a William Cepeda, you like, man, he's pounding on this little dude right here. And then you don't even know who's going to fight next. And it's like, man, well, we'll get to all of that. We'll get to all that. Yeah. Also, those who listening, man, don't hit that Cashapp right there. You see it, Mtownwilhen. Anybody who's feel real generous and want to donate to the machine, you can always do that. That's back in the day. I ain't gonna play none of that footage right there. Also, you can be a part of the movement. We got some t-shirts out there since the summertime. Some people want to go out there and flex a little bit and show some support to the movement. You can go ahead and purchase some of these. These are now available as well. You see they say that we need to get my main man Shelton. We had a Four Kings on there. You understand what I'm saying?
Look at you.
And then check this out, man. Some people, they said, man, Will, since you've been on that podcast, you've been acting brand new. I said, no, man, I just got a new brand right here. And that's the new brand.
I like that.
And I'm going to leave it up there for a second if you want to go ahead and get with the movement to move with information that you can get those particular type of shirts. So you got I think that's the little green joint on there, the blue, and then that yellow one go good if you get you a Philadelphia Pirates hat. They go real good with that.
But that white one is fire though. That white one is what's happening.
I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep it moving, man. I also threw this on here, man, because I think towards the end of the month you got Romero and Eastside Cruz. I'm actually looking forward to this fight. Yesterday, William Cepeda, he's one of those guys. It might take him a round or two to go ahead and get into motion. Once he get into motion, it's hard to stop the momentum of all those punches and stuff like that's going to be coming your way. Two dudes I know off the top of my head that they like, how like Tom and Jerry, like they just go at it. He like once he get up in the ring, he's throwing all type of bolos at you, and that's going to be Eastside Cruz. The other one is Beck the Bully, but Beck the Bully got kind of put in his place a little bit. But that young man right there, he comes out guns blazing. Now he says Cruz, he trashes coward Rolly Romero, and he said he's gonna shut his mouth. Before we do the predictions, probably next week or the week after, whenever we do the predictions, what do you guys think? You think he's gonna shut the loudmouth Rolly Romero up, or do you think that this is tailor-made for Rolly?
Man, I think so. I think Isaac Cruz is gonna put a hurting on Romero. I think like just like we talk about discipline, like Devin Haney being a more disciplined fighter. I believe when you look at these two guys in the ring, I'm not saying outside the ring, whatever they do, because they're both professionals. But inside the ring, even though Cruz has his reputation of being like a brawler, I think he's more disciplined in what he wants to accomplish in the ring than Rolly Romero. And you can see that when you compare what both did against Tank Davis. Romero was making so many mistakes, while Isaac Cruz, while the brawler was, even though he was brawling with, Tank, and you could argue that Tank had a hurt hand.
I don't know, man. But before you finish,
that's his excuse. That's his excuse.
Before you finish, I thought Lexicon really had made a good account of himself, way better than I thought. Rolly Romero against Tank up until he got caught.
He did, but he got caught because of not being disciplined. Where Isaac Cruz was able to, block some pretty good shots. You know what I'm saying, to the body, to the head. So even though because of style wise, I think they match up well. It's not fair to say that Isaac Cruz would just definitively beat Romero, just based off their mentalities. I see Isaac Cruz meaning more business than Rolly Romero. Yeah, so he gonna shut his mouth.
I think that you know how you guys both know how I feel about this fight. You got Bum A versus Bum B. They having a bum
B. Bum B, somebody out of Texas, Bum B.
Yeah, they having a bum off. They're gonna find out who is the best bum in the division.
Okay.
But when Romero fought Tank, it's because he doesn't have enough boxing IQ to realize that you can't throw the same shot over and over again. Tank waits. You throw that same stupid shot, and he's gonna catch you with something when you're coming in. Set him up, knock him out. When he fought Cruz, it was a different idea for Tank because Tank is used to being the smaller guy. And in the Isaac Cruz fight, Isaac Cruz was the smaller guy. Mm-hmm. So Tank had to do something different, which was punch down, which led to him punching the guy on the top of the head and hurt his hand. But the difference between Tank and Romero, that if they were to fight again, Tank would make an adjustment. Instead of punching down, Tank would probably hit this dude with an uppercut. Whereas Romero is, he's probably going to fight the same way he always fights. Just like he fought against Tank, just like he fought against the old man Barroso, he's probably going to fight the same way. And more than likely, if he doesn't knock Isaac out, he's going to get outworked.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think Isaac has that much pop. I don't think he can stop Rolly. But Rolly's kind of chinny, so he might knock Rolly out. Because the shot that Tank hit him with wasn't really a hard shot. He just walked into it. And he was out all the way to the dressing room. So to me, that tells me that Romero's kind of chinny. Then he did get dropped against the old man. Am I right?
Yeah, I've seen him hurt against lesser dudes. Like when he was coming up, I seen him get hurt by some guys. So I never thought anything of Rolly Romero. I just always thought he was more of a farce. He was more of a somebody who you would see who, how they had CB4 and he was like a fake gangster.
Right.
Like he like a fighter, like you know what I'm saying? Like he's trying to play a fighter and they got him out there, but then he ended up being able to get a Tank fight. And I'm like, dude, you really gonna try to sell that right there? That against that dude? But in this one right here, the only thing that concerns me for Isaac is the weight. Him going up 5 more pounds with that little stubby legs and stuff that he has. That's the only thing. But outside of that, I think that even playing field, I think he will shut him up, and I think he will stop him because he's going to be hitting him way too much. And I don't think that Rolly's going to be having any answers for him. Now, Rolly is strong as an ox, though. Mm-hmm. One thing is, there's 2 things Rolly has. He got some power, and he's strong as an ox. You know, so we'll see. We'll see how long it plays out. If he's able to take the shots that Isak is delivering, and then, you know, kind of like the Barossa fight where he catches it with something late, you know. But like you say, Isak is kind of defensively responsible, even though he's throwing all of those punches. So it should be an interesting fight. I didn't like Isak in his last fight, though. He looked like he was having trouble with that tall guy. All right, so let's go ahead.
I thought Hollywood beat him. I thought Hollywood beat him in that fight.
Yeah, but we'll see. It's different opponents. So shout out to both guys, though, man. You call them the bash of the bums, huh? All right, now let's go ahead and recap this fight, man, that happened on the zone yesterday. You had William Zepeda. He stopped Maxie Hughes out of England. Vale, I know you like to break down the fights and everything that you saw in this 4th round TKO victory for William Zepeda. What did you like about it? You know, did you see anything there that he needs to improve, or was it total annihilation?
Yeah, it's total annihilation. It went exactly how I thought it was going to go. I mean, matter of fact, I didn't even stay up to watch this because that's how confident I knew and how it was going to go. And I woke up this morning and watched it. And Zepeda just pretty much, he only took maybe the first round to figure Maxie Hughes out. Maxie Hughes is already, you know, battle-worn Euro-level fighter. So it's like it was easy to predict what was going to happen. Hughes wasn't going to do anything to really give Zepeda anything other than what Zepeda could deal with. So once Zepeda got to work at throwing those punches and letting his hands go, Hughes just couldn't catch up. In the 4th round, it was brutal where even though they waited to the round to end to put for his corner to pull him out, I would say it was a good, like, the last 20 to 15 seconds of that round, I would have pulled him out then because he was just taking punches. Hughes wasn't moving at all at that point, and because of Zepeda was going to the body with those hard hooks, Hughes basically was just static and there with his hands up and just taking punches. And you know, at that point, it's like, how long you want to keep him in there? So didn't really care for this fight beforehand because I knew the outcome. It's like, come on, Zepeda. Why is Zepeda fighting Isak Cruz or somebody like that? You know, so hey, it is what it is, man.
Zepeda's getting a title shot. I mean, not Zepeda, but Isak.
Isak is getting a title shot. Then after that, who is Zepeda? It's not. I'm not even singling out Isak Cruz. I'm like, who is Zepeda fighting?
We'll get to that. I got something for you. I got something for you on that.
Okay.
Did you check the fight out, Shelton?
Yes, I did. My man Val is getting that. My man William Zepeda is number 1 in the WBA, number 1 in the WBO, and I got a phone call. I'll be right back.
Yes, sir. And so this is my notes that took me. You got. Let's see if I can put that on. Okay. Yeah. So Hughes, you know, as you see here, statistically outgunned. Was outgunned across the board. Zepeda, you see how many punches he landed, 161 for 408. I'm going to read this, and this is more so for the people who's going to be listening to this on Spotify. And so Zepeda landed 161 to 408 punches, which is 39.5%, an average of 102 punches per round, according to CompuBox. Hughes was credited with landing just 53 out of 221 punches, 24% overall, including 34 of 111 body shots. Zepeda connected on 105 out of 228, which is 46.1% of his power punches, 49 of which landed to the body. He was doing some mean body punches. He was just breaking his dude down, man. And it was all bad. Like, once you got to about that 3rd round, I was feeling bad for him. But I was hoping that they at least let it go to the 5th round, because then I would have ended up, my prediction would have been perfect, you know. But as far as his health is concerned, they stopped it maybe a little too late. But like I said last week, man, I knew that this was going to be one of the last fights with Maxie Hughes just based on the style matchups. You got a dude that's a little crafty, no power, and that's not going to bowl well when you got an accurate power punching dude that's big and strong. and he stays in the pocket a little too much. Now, if you fight somebody with a different style who doesn't have as much power, then Maxie Hughes can kind of frustrate you and confuse you a little bit. But nobody likes to pay. That's like when you do the rock, paper, scissors.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad, horrible matchup. That's why, like I said, going into the fight, that's why I made the prediction that it was going to be easy work for William Zapa. Now, next, though, he called out, and Oscar kind of called out Shakur. Now, to me, I like the fight between the two, and I can see a fight between Zepeda and Shakur going a couple ways. More likely, I would see Shakur being a little too slick, a little too quick. But at the same time, I can see Zepeda having some success. I just don't think Zepeda is clean enough, like with his style, to match up like the way he needs to against Shakur in order to really give him some trouble. But I think that Shakur, he'll feel it after the fight, though. You know what I'm saying? Because Zepeda is going to be going to that body and stuff like that. But I think that Shakur, his slickness would be a little bit too much for William Zepeda if they lock horns. What about you?
Oh man, it's a good matchup to me. I watch it. So
I say what a good matchup. No. Don't get it. No, it's a good matchup. It's a great matchup.
Make it happen. Make it happen. I'm saying make it happen because you got two guys who need names in their resume. Even though I hold Shakur Stevenson in a way higher regard. This dude's pound for pound level as far as talent. But Zepeda would be a good scout for him to go take. That would be sending a message like, look, I'll take on a dangerous guy, a dangerous undefeated guy. You know what I'm saying? And for Zepeda, he needs that name also. I mean, I'm tired of guys looking at, man, I'm not gonna fight him because he's slick and he might embarrass me. I mean, go and take the fight, man. That's why y'all fight.
They saying they want the fight. So that's what I'm saying.
So that's just, they both should just there you go. It should happen.
Who do you like? Who do you think? What would be the outcome of this one? Like,
I will favor Shakur. I think Shakur is too slick for Zepeda. But at the same time, what we learned about Shakur in the last fight, power does make him more apprehensive and to throw punches. So I can see Zepeda really trying, as far as trying with the activity. I can see Shakur's game plan be to drop that output, and he's gonna his thing is gonna fight a more defensive fight and counter Zepeda at times. So that's where I kind of favor Stevenson in this fight, but like you said, it's gonna hurt because Zepeda, he got an engine on him, and unless you consistently countering him and give him things to make him think, I can't see Shakur doing that for 12 rounds without catching something, getting hurt in some way. Not hurt like drop, but feeling it the next morning. So, but I think this will be something. This could be pretty much a statement-making fight for Stevenson, saying, "Hey, look, I can compete with the strongest guys. You know what I'm saying? I can, regardless of my style." So that's why I favor him.
Yeah, I think the more I think about this, like I said, I think Shakur, it'll be a welcome to the 135-pound weight class, like officially, like because you fighting against a big, strong guy, and then I think after this one, he would be fully acclimated to whatever it comes his way. Now, the guys that Shakur really will always look a little less than stellar against are guys who have that whipping power. Like De Los Santos, it's a quicker way that he's getting to you than how Zepeda does it. Cepeda's more thudding, and he's more like it's a continual sort of thing. Where De Los Santos, if you mess around, get an exchange, and you're not careful, that he can get you like real in some bad shape, like boom, like that, like quick. So there, in this situation, in this scenario, I think that this will be play into Shakur's hands a little bit more because his reflexes, his quickness. I think that they may throw Zepeda off a little bit because I've never seen Zepeda fight against somebody. And rarely will you fight against somebody who's going to have the reflexes and quickness of a Shakur. So I can see Shakur stand in there a little bit more, delivering shots underneath, catching him, in certain exchanges, maybe even dropping them. But I just think that Zepeda, he's one of the toughest guys and one of the best guys in that division. When I say rock, paper, scissors, I think Shakur's style is one that should be able to overcome a William Zepeda historically, I think. In the 135-pound weight class, you got these guys right here. For the life of me, I don't know how they have Vasil Lomachenko number one. Like I don't get it. Like how is he number one? But here are some of the guys that could be potential opponents. I think that the one that's most likely is two. It would be either Lomachenko after he beats Kambosos, or he can directly start negotiating with Shakur. The other guys are kind of tied up. So you got Tank, who's tied up. You got Frank Martin. They're going to be going against each other. Isak Cruz. I'm not really familiar with Raymond Muratalla. He might be – who did he just beat? I can't remember. And then these guys right here, I think he would be taking a step backwards because he's already beaten Maxie Hughes. And so he will be taking a step back right now facing the other guys because, like I said, I think Kambosos is going to lose. And then Keyshawn is just not really ready yet. He will be getting an opportunity. But I think that Zepeda at this point will be a little bit too much for the kid. Also yesterday, Phil, you had Joe Joyce. The Juggernaut was back in action. Did you get a chance to check him out?
Yeah, I checked this one out too, man. I mean, it was good to see Joe Joyce really get his confidence back. I mean, Cash Ali wasn't anything to write home about. But we saw one thing that I did like about this fight for Joe Joyce is, and why I said building his confidence is because, Ali was cracking him and he was taking it, so he wasn't hurt at any point in this fight. So I think that can give him more confidence going forward as far as the mental part, because how he fights, basically, he's like, Jason Voorhees. He just keeps coming, but he's very, very slow. And even in this fight, he was real, real slow, but he keeps coming, and that pays off, especially in this fight in the second half and in the last 2 rounds. It really, really paid off where he was just breaking Ali down, and the fight was stopped in the last round. So that was a good win for him. He still looked pretty much the same, so hopefully he can get his way back and get a good fight somewhere in the heavyweight division.
Let me first start off by saying these two things. First and foremost, Joe Joyce ought to be ashamed of himself coming in at 200 pounds. Like, that's way too heavy. I don't care if it's just a back fight. You don't do that, man. If you're going to be serious, you just come off for 2 knockout losses, 2 big jelly. And so that's unacceptable, especially a guy like you who needs more development. And I don't know if you'll be able to do it at your age, but who is he going to be? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's doing the same thing over and over. And even though he was able to take some shots from Cash Ali, I mean, some of the other guys that we take a look at in the heavyweight division, they're going to lick their chop, and it's just it's going to end up all bad. He might end up with brain damage because he's not. There's not a punch that right hand he can't get out of the way of. Like Cash, anytime he wanted to land it, it just becomes a point where if you don't have enough power and you can't hurt him, then it's like mentally it's exhausting as well as it's physically exhausting because this dude just keeps coming. But if you have some skill, if you're one of the top upper echelon guys, I think that you will be able to have your way with Joe Joyce, especially at 286-pound Joe Joyce. The other thing that I was going to say is that I think a second-class stamp has faster delivery than Joe Joyce. That is so dang on slow, man. I'm looking at the punches that he's throwing, and like I say, it's just the fact that Cash, after a while, after about the 7th round, he could have got Cash out of there. He was done. He just wasn't revving it up enough, in order to get him out of there. And then the last point I'm gonna make is the fastest thing I seen in this fight was the count from the referee. Like, he was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Like, getting him out of there, like 7 seconds left. And I'm like, man, the jig is up, man, and the fix is in because they wanted him to end up having another knockout because the only knockout that he hasn't had in victory was against Brian Jennings. earlier in his career. But he's back in action, and some of these guys right here, I don't know who I would favor him against, and I don't think I would favor him against any of these guys. Obviously, he's not up there in the rankings. It's a shame where they got Deontay Wilder, though. How do they have Deontay Wilder behind Joe Joyce in this scenario? How is that possible?
I don't know. I don't know.
Deontay Wilder should be right either. I think he should be behind Jelly John. Because none of these dudes, 5, 6, 7, 8, who have they beaten?
Well, Herkovich has a victory over. Does he have a victory over Zhang?
Okay, so he has a victory over Zhang, right? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's give him that. I don't know if he really won that fight. That was a very close fight where many people think that he lost that fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's say, for instance, you give him that. Let's say, for instance, you give Herkovich that victory. You give Jelly Jong 4, and you give Parker 3, who beat him. But then how do you justify 6 and 7?
I know. I can't justify that. No.
And Wilder being one of the longest reigning champions, going 3 knockdown drag out fights, at least 2 of the 3 against Tyson Fury. I think that should at least preserve a top 6 ranking, especially when you consider that to this. So you look at the welterweights and you see Errol Spence is still number 1 with Crawford being a champion. I think that you can justify moving Errol down. I wouldn't do it based on what he's done. But I'm saying, like, if you compare that to what they're doing to Wilder in the heavyweight division, to me, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, that's like if Errol Spence went ahead and lost to David Avenesian next, then he'll be number 9.
Well, David Avenesian, nah, it wouldn't be he would have to have lost to this dude who was.
Because remember, Deontay Wilder was favored to beat Joseph Parker, just like even this version of Errol Spence was favored to beat David Avenesian.
As he should have been favored to beat David. That's not the case because Joseph Parker was a world champion at one point. Hey, he can't be David Avenesian. But anyway, I think they're doing the Bronx Bomber dirty, and they need to cut it out. They need to cut out the nonsense. Now, we don't have any predictions this week. There's nothing coming up that we really care to predict. That's big enough, to really discuss. That's going to be interesting enough to even discuss. If something pops up next week, we have a good result or something like that, we just want to touch on it, then we'll go ahead and catch it on the back end. But as far as front-ending the information and trying to have a prediction, it's just not, anything there for us to predict this week. So we're just going to go ahead, keep it rocking like a cutoff stocking. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And then let's go ahead and get to this news. First and foremost, Vale, Francis Ngannou, you want to talk about this where he was reflecting on the loss to Anthony Joshua, and he says that he just didn't feel right. He's a little tired, he's a little fatigued, he was sleepy, and all sort of things, which leads a lot of people to speculate that they drugged the man before the fight. And then also he vows to continue boxing. What do you say on those two fronts? Well,
you just said it right there. If he feels like he was drugged, why would you continue boxing if you feel like you were drugged? So he said he wasn't feeling himself. He said he was sleepy. Probably has more to do with the time zone, but that ain't no excuse. It's like you signed a fight in Saudi Arabia. If you ain't getting enough sleep, how you think AJ felt? Said the same thing. They both fought in Saudi Arabia.
Sleepy. He felt sleepy because of that overhand right. That's what made his ass sleepy.
They're saying before the fight. So he said he
excuses,
didn't feel right.
Nobody knows that.
I know. He didn't feel right. But I bring this up. I've been debating a lot of normally I stay away from debating people on Facebook about stuff. But man, people was talking about how the fight was fixed, how Joshua didn't even land on him. See, well, look at the first punch.
Bro.
He didn't land. I'm like, do y'all know boxing? Like he punched right through the guard. It hit Ngannou right across the face. Like he got caught right across the face. They talk about the second punch. Oh, he didn't connect on the second punch. I'm like, it's an equilibrium shot. Like he got caught right around the ear. Like,
but Ngannou didn't say that. When Ngannou was saying he was sleepy going into the fight, he can't control what the people saying out there.
Maybe you sleepy, but whose fault is that? Is that Joshua's fault? You sleepy? Did you get enough sleep? You a championship fighter, man.
What did we say leading up to the fight? We said, but all of us, we all said the same thing. We said you have to be crazy to put an 0-1 guy who lost his only professional fight in the ring with the two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world.
You're right. But we know boxing. People were saying, well, no one in UFC ever hurt him. They wear smaller gloves. He's never been hurt. Now there's AJ who got knocked out by Andy Ruiz can hurt him.
You know what? A trained Andy Ruiz will beat shit out of Francis Ngannou.
I agree. Andy Ruiz is fast. Even before the Joshua fight, I was like, wow. I looked at him. I was like, this dude got some hand speed. You know, he chubby, but them hands are deceptive. So,
that's crazy. That's crazy talk. But what I wanted to say was back to what you were saying about Zepeda. See, the problem for me with Zepeda is this: I don't know if Zepeda has the footwork to deal with like a Shakur Stevenson or a Tank Davis or somebody who has footwork. Because see, the thing for Zepeda is to get all them shots off, you either one have to be standing right in front of him, or two, he has to have the footwork to cut the ring off. And against those top guys, I don't know if he has the footwork to cut the ring off because he's never had to do it. If you notice his last 5-6 fights, all those guys he fought did what? They stood right in front of him.
Right. You fellas, are you fellas familiar with Darren Sharper?
Yes. Safety. New Orleans Saints. Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay Packers. Also convicted of drugging women.
Yeah, raping them. Yeah.
Drugging and R-wording them, right?
Yeah.
Now,
yes, sir.
Darren Sharper, a lot of women like Darren Sharper. Do you think Darren Sharper necessarily had to do that in order to get the women that he was trying to get?
No. Hell no. He didn't have to do that.
Absolutely not. So I say that to say, I don't know if Eddie Hearn and Cruz, even though we knew that that was a bad matchup for Ngannou, if they want to ensure that Ngannou wasn't going to be going into that fight. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
You my guy, Will. You my guy, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole with you, bro.
I don't know what a cheater's thing. It's like, dude, you didn't even have to do that. Why'd you, But
I mean, people don't like AJ. People don't like AJ.
Yeah, you're right. The Ngannou just embarrassed. That's all.
People don't like AJ, and I get that. But we got to look at it from a boxing perspective only. AJ done been in with damn near everybody. AJ can box. AJ got box.
I'm not saying he can't.
You can't. Just like the reference you made earlier, brother. They put Beck the Bully, a 7-fight fighter, in with Gabe Rosado. What happened to him? You can't do that. You can't do that. Gabe walked his ass right into that shot and knocked him out.
You shouldn't do it. But you also, I've heard, I'm gonna take Deontay Wilder out of this equation.
Right.
I heard a dude who was upset with Tyson Fury because he looked at his gloves and he said he took a lot of the padding out of the gloves. And he was adamant about that. Why would he have to do that? You boxing somebody who's not even on your level. Why would you have to do that, sir?
Well, Wilder said that. Wilder made a whole lot of other excuses too. He said that it did in his head, he needs surgery, and
no, what I'm saying,
fight too is too heavy.
I'm taking Wilder out of the equation. I'm saying the other guy who was training with Tyson Fury, there was a guy who had allegations towards him, and he wanted to sue him and all of that type of stuff. So I don't know, when people make allegations. And all Nagano was saying, he just was sleepy. You know what I'm saying? He was tired going if he didn't feel like himself. I'm just going to take the man at his word, but at the end of the day, it's no excuse. But I'm not going to say that it's, you know, accurate with what he's saying. He didn't feel right going into the fight. But a lot of times,
he said it was Frank Nagano in that ring. He said it was Frank Nagano.
There is no planet where Francis Ngannou with one professional fight beats Anthony Joshua. It just doesn't happen. Just don't happen. With that wide stance, look, with that wide stance, and you got your hands open like that, what is the trained boxer going to do? He's going to come right down the middle and pop you in your face, just like he did.
I agree with that totally all day, but I can't, you know, sit up here and say that I don't, you know if there's some validity with what the man is saying. But shout out to you. Go ahead and get some of that, get money, man. All right, let me go ahead and move to the next one on here. We got we got somebody in the chat. Let me go ahead and see what my man is saying. I got too much going on right here. He says, boom, why is Baldy talking? Oh, this dude right here. These dudes some chunk. All right, so now he says Eddie Hearn, Turkey Alice Cheek. He says will stage Joshua and Fury after. I think we kind of talked about that before. I like Fury in that fight if he gets past Usyk. Did y'all want to talk about that, or should I go to the next one?
Well, yeah, you can go to the next one. All I'm saying is like they talk about this like Fury
it's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, that is not a foregone conclusion.
What's that?
That he gonna beat Usyk.
Yeah, they gonna beat Usyk. They said like he already beat him already. We plan.
Yeah, I gotta lose him.
No, what if he's saying they're gonna do it anyway?
Oh, that's cool. Then that's cool. I want to see it.
That's a good grudge match, you know. No titles on the line, so it'll be for bragging rights.
Yeah, I think that some of those fights they need to go ahead and do it anyway. I just wish they would have did it like when everybody was. I mean, I think Joshua. I don't even know. I think Joshua's still Joshua. Like people are saying that he's this and he's that. I still think he's the same. His confidence might be a little bit higher now after his last two performances. But I think it was a certain point where his confidence was high still then anyway. But he might be a little bit better because he's had a little tutelage from different trainers and stuff like that. Now he's back with Ben, and it seems like they are more in sync with one another. And so it might be better off for Joshua, especially if Fury's coming off of L too. But we'll see, man. I like the matchup. I just wish it would have happened when the iron was a little bit hotter, for that matchup. It's always going to be hot in the UK, but I'm just saying like, when both guys' names was ringing bells, boom, I talked about that. I'm gonna go past some of these things, man. As far as because in our opening we talked about the sales of the tickets, why they're not flying off the show. Now we can discuss this though. What do y'all think about this matchup? Now I heard Robert Garcia. He says on their end the fight is signed. They're just waiting for Juan Francisco Estrada's signature. What do you think about a big potential matchup, of the year in the making between Bam Rodriguez and Juan Francisco Estrada?
Breath of fresh air. This is a fight I have this ain't like one of those fights that we were like, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? Will they agree? Will somebody pull out? Unless Juan Francisco Estrada is injured, this fight will happen. Like they will sign to fight this fight. And like you had in the title caption, this has a potential for a fight of the year in the making. It also has a potential if Bam Rodriguez wins this fight, who I favor in this fight over because Estrada is kind of aging, but he's aging a little bit, and Bam is kind of a young guy on the rise. So this could be a star-making fight for Bam Rodriguez. So, but Francisco is not the type of guy that I see. Man, I don't want to fight this guy. Or the money got to be right. This fight is going to happen. And it's a breath of fresh air seeing, two guys, lower weight class. They're going to get down, and there won't be no diva behavior. So I look forward to it.
I don't know if Sheldon had to step away, but I can't see.
Oh yeah, great fight. Two guys are gonna get in there and let it all hang out. Estrada is known for taking fights. He don't duck nobody. Bam Rodriguez is hungry. The old lion trying to keep his spot, the young lion trying to take it. Like you had in the thumbnail, fight of the year to make it, bro. Fight of the year to make it. Can't wait for it.
I don't like it, man. Unless they allow Estrada to get a tune-up. Now, if they doing this like a little bit later, both fighters fight on the same card or something like that, and then Estrada gets a little tune-up. But dude hasn't fought since late 2022. Right at this point, he'll get smoked. What's going to stop him in the latter part of the fight? Because I see him even when he's on his game. It was a couple times that I thought Chocolatito could have, if he was able to step it up a little bit more, he might have ended up being able to get Estrada out of there. But Estrada, like he's tough as nails, and he's slick. He's got this little slickness to him. He has the know-how. He's a really good, solid, B+, A-ish, type guy. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to be on your game to beat him. I just don't like a guy who's rusty and you fighting this young lion. No, that's not gonna end well for you. Bam is gonna put them paws on him in that scenario. Now, if he's on point and he's ready, game planning for Bam, then yeah, that's gonna be a really tough matchup. And then that's gonna be one in which Bam is gonna earn his right to be able to take off one of those kings, because he already beat Quadras, he beat Sor Rumvasai, then he'll knock him off. It's just one more left. But I think moved up. So I don't know if you'll be able to get him anytime soon. And Chocolatito's getting a little long in the tooth. But that would be great for the kid. I think that he would be consensus top 10 pound for pound on everybody's pound for pound list if he's able to get Juan Francisco Estrada on his resume. Now, this is how it really, the lineage goes. Like typically, this is how it happens. You have that Mexican star who gets a little older, and then you got that young Mexican who comes up and knocks him off, then he takes over. And that's just typically how it goes. If you think historically, this is what happens. You know what I mean? I just think the only person who's not allowing this to happen and manifest itself is Canelo. He don't want to be the older guy against Benavidez, and he's not letting that transpire. But this is typically how it goes. Can he fight him off and remain on top? And that's what we'll actually see if they do lock horns. But please allow the older guy to get a tune-up. All right. Anything else on that, fellas?
No, sir.
My computer is acting up once again. Nah, man. Don't do that now. Not right now. Val, anything that you like to talk about? Because I think it's what's the last topic? Oh, you know what we need to talk about?
Yes, sir. What was that?
Well, first and foremost, Liam Paro.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Liam Paro.
And then he's going to be taking on your boy, Sabril Matias.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that's going to be in June. I'm going to let you fellas cook. I'm going to restart my computer, okay?
Okay. Yeah, so I hear that, Sabril Matias, he's going to be taking on Liam Paro, and I think it's June 15th. I think that's the date. So Shelton, man, what are your thoughts on that fight? Shelton, you there? So Liam Paro, 24-0, 15 knockouts, just coming off his victory over Montana Love. So he'll be taking on, the monster, Sabril Matias. And that fight is going to be set for June 15th.
Yeah, I'm sorry, brother. I had a phone call.
So
I got a little something on it. I think Paro has a chance. I think he has a chance in the fight. I just don't think it's a good one. I mean,
why not?
Well, Paro has a little pop and he can box really well, but he's not a mover, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. And the way you're going to have to beat Matias, you're going to have to move and make him turn and outbox him. You can't stand in front of this guy and just bang it out with him. And that's all I've seen Liam Paro do is try to knock guys out. So if you stand in front of this guy, if you can't hurt him, or back him up, it's gonna be bad for you.
You're right. I do agree with you. The only thing about Liam Pearl though is that I think he has some he's very jab heavy, you know what I'm saying? He popped that jab out there a lot. So, and I think that would help him against somebody like Matias. Of course, he's an undefeated guy. So up to this point, we haven't seen somebody really put him in his place. Now, the power of Matias could do that, but as we know, Matias can be caught too. Is that so far he's just showing a strong chin. Even the last fight, the first 2 rounds, I was like, this guy might, put Matias in his place and stop him. Now, Matias was able to weather that storm and turn the tables. And even after the fight, he said, like, hey, look, I felt his power in the first 2 rounds and I knew I can beat him. So Matias does have in my eyes, that tells me that he has a strong chin. But I do think that Pearl matches up with him in some way because he can, he works off that jab pretty well. It's just that he doesn't move well enough that I think he can stay away from Matias too long. So I can't wait. I mean, I will favor Matias in this fight, but I think this is not a walk in the park for him based on the style of Liam Pearl. So, Will, what do you think?
I just seen Pearl whoop on Montana Love, but I don't. That's like a tune-up. You know what I'm saying? Like Montana Love ain't much. He
like what's his name? His namesake, man. J. Leon Love. Talented guys, man, but they're talented guys, man, but they be too focused on them women, man, trying to be stars and all that, and they ain't trying to like work on their craft.
I can't believe you brought up J. Leon Love.
That was my dude. That was my dude, man, but he just wasn't. He started focusing on the women too much, man. I think he was a star just because he's with the TMT, and that's how I wrote.
Wasn't that good? Like sometimes he just needed to play his role, and then he might need to. At that time, if they had a Jake Paul or something like that for him to fight, like, because he wasn't going to beat any of the top guys. I don't even want to talk about no J. Leon Love. Shout out to you, J. Leon Love, man. I ain't trying to say, but I'm sticking to Montana. I'm looking over here at 140 pounds right here. And again, who's doing these rankings? Would you favor Josh Taylor over Matias right now? Or would you rank him over Matias right now?
No.
How do you do this, man? This is crazy. Oh, man. But anyway, Matias, let me see who. Not again, man, like really what they're going to need to do is some of these dudes going to have to start mixing it up. Like they got to really make it where you got the Ramirez that he's facing like a Matias or something like that. But it's too murky because you got the promotional situations. But I think they can get Ramirez Sabrias though right now because they signed with the same company. So that would be a good fight for him. Like somebody like that.
You got to remember. Ramirez went to Golden Boy.
Oh, I'm thinking he went with her. Yeah, but anyway,
with the Golden Boy. I'm thinking, and now I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking about Ramirez. His next fight is going to be that dude at the top left of those rankings. I bet you that's his next fight.
What, Teofimo?
Yep.
No, that ain't. See, a good matchup. Like, see, Sabrio, he keeps fighting dudes that we know who the dudes are. The last dude I didn't really know too much about. I just saw the highlights. I'm like, that dude got some power. Like, he looked strong. He looked like he knows.
22-0 with 20 knockouts. He was pretty good.
He is. But what I'm saying is he's not getting enough fighters that more people know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Jose Ramirez win on your resume. If you beat somebody like that down, then that's going to give him more, bragging rights when it comes to trying to sit down with a Devin Haney or whomever and trying to mix it up with a Teofimo Lopez or somebody like that. He bringing more to the table. So they can do this unification. But yeah, I think he's gonna beat the guy because like I said, if Montana Love is your biggest victory, then you ain't really beat too many people. Just shout out to Montana Love. I don't want to talk down on him.
He beat a lot of Australians though, Will.
Exactly. Nah, shout out to them dudes, but it's just there don't be a lot of competition out there, man. There don't be a lot of slickness or anything like that they're gonna see that's gonna really prepare them for the upper echelon American fighters that they can see. Last but not least, we got two more things. I don't know what's up with Taylor's body, man, but it keeps breaking down. And so Catterall, his rematch against him is going to be postponed. You think Catterall just need to forget about this one and just move forward with the other guys that we saw in the rankings?
Maybe because I think go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I was gonna say, he can't because the other guys are bigger names than him. What Hearn has to do is stop pushing the Taylors and these other guys and start pushing Catterall. Put Catterall in some of these showcase fights so people can get to know who he is. Because Catterall is actually pretty good. Go ahead, Val.
Yeah. Well, I see your point that he can't move on. I think he should. But Catterall is one of those guys. He's not someone like a Cambosis or something where you can, I can get this name on resume and beat them easy. Catterall is tricky enough where it's like the even though he's not really like the highest risk, there's not a high reward for him neither. So it's like, who do you fight? So I definitely see Shelton's point in that. Like, what are you going to do if you Jack Catterall? Because you looked at it as a name, a small name that can possibly beat somebody. You risk.
For who? Who would? Only person that I can see that would probably be thinking like that is Teofimo Lopez, because he just had trouble against those kind of tricky kind of dudes. But I would favor Gary Antoine Russell over him. I would favor pretty much all of them dudes up there, except it just seemed like he's stuck on the Josh Taylor thing when he should be pushing for anybody who's ranked higher than him if he's not already, unanimously the number one contender.
We already see that there's only like two guys higher than Josh Taylor right now.
You know what he should do? If he wants to get a name, you know what he should do? He should go right after the winner of Cruz and Romero. That's what he should do.
I just don't be like, only time I see his name popping up is when Josh Taylor's name. It's kind of like they are tied together. You know what I'm saying? And I never really hear him push for any of the other guys. It's like he's content where he is. Like, okay, I'm here, I've arrived, like where I'm at, and I'm not really trying to push the envelope in order to get those. I don't know. I think Catterall's a confident guy based on what I've seen. I've never heard him mention anybody else outside of Josh Taylor. Last but not least, fellas, man, you got the two old fellas, man. They announced that they're going to have a boxing match, and that is two fighters who had two different outcomes against Iron Mike Tyson, who's going to be fighting Jake Paul in June. These guys are going to fight each other in a matchup. Hopefully it's like an exhibition or something like that. And that is Michael Spinks, who used to have a Jinx. And then you have Buster Douglas, who was one of the guys who was the first guy to topple Mike Tyson and put an end to his aura, of instability. What do you think? You like this?
No, it's a circus. But I'll tell you that hopefully it's an exhibition. Well, I'll pray it's an exhibition. Most likely it is. I'll say the one high point of this. The one high point of this fight happening is that it gives Buster Douglas incentive to get in shape. Because you can see this is a guy who struggled with, health issues and his weight for so long.
You think so?
Yeah, and he needs, if he decides to, because sometimes people just show up. But I think it does give him a little incentive to want to, train, try to get in better shape, live a more healthier lifestyle. But getting in the ring, and I'm not sure how old either of these guys are. I had to assume that they're probably early 60s or late 50s.
69 and 71.
Oh my goodness. Oh. I'll say this.
They said it's an AI boxing match, fellas. It's AI.
What? AI. Okay. So
AI boxing.
So are they just doing motion capture?
Right. They're not gonna fight each other.
You know what? So even then, I think that still gives incentive for Buster Douglas to get in shape so he can, move the way he used to, I wouldn't watch it though.
Man, they're gonna sit up here and have me put this on the screen.
I thought it was real though. I thought it was real.
I'll watch it.
Like,
now, I'll say this: I'm not gonna pay for it, but I will watch it.
I will.
I listen, might watch it. Did you look at this right here? This Razor Ruddock when he got into the ring and James Toney, they didn't have any incentive to get in shape because these dudes was heavy as I don't know what. Look at what's going on, man.
That was terrible.
But you know what? I think they both could probably capable of walking up the stairs. Buster Douglas, at some point, I question if he can walk up the stairs sometime. And no disrespect to him, but that's just as someone worried about another person.
Yeah, Buster's still sitting on all that money too, Will.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Buster rich.
Some way he was. Some folks ain't smart with it, but with him and Larry Holmes, they smart with it. Yeah,
Buster rich. I like this for Buster though, for the fact that it gets his name back out there. Buster was really actually pretty good heavyweight. He just, he's a one hit. He's like an Andrew Ruiz, a one hit wonder. But he was actually pretty good. I mean, he only lost like 4 or 5 fights.
Yeah, I remember seeing him against TNT.
Tony Tucker.
Yeah. He kind of like quit a little bit.
Yeah, he quit a lot. He quit a lot.
That's what made everybody question whether Buster Douglas could beat Mike Tyson. I think that really
he quit a lot.
Changed him a little bit because a lot of people called him quitter and all that, and he was like, no.
A lot of them dudes during that time though had some skills, but they started getting a little out of shape. Like Tony Tubbs was bad. I remember out in Buffalo back in '85, he whooped on Greg Page and took his belt.
Yeah.
And then I was like, man, he might do a little something. The next thing I know, he getting fatter and fatter. And he still had the little bounce to him though. Like he get up and be bouncing around. But I'm like, dude, you're gonna have to get some better steak. But we talk.
You know who disappointed me back in the day, bro? Was Michael Dokes. Michael Dokes was good. He could fight.
Oh yeah.
He just couldn't put the pipe down though. He couldn't put the pipe down.
You know what match surprised me like to this day? I don't know if you remember that. It was Big John Tate.
Yeah.
Big John Tate was whooping Mike Weaver. He had the fight all won. It was the 15th round. And dude just got clocked with a shot.
Got knocked out.
Never was the same after that, man.
Yeah. Kind of like our boy who just got out the pen. Remember him from Davenport, Iowa?
Oh, you talking about
Michael Nunn.
Yeah.
Had to fight one. Was whooping James Toney's behind. And got caught.
But see, now those heavyweights, because that was the era, like kind of Holmes was about to leave. There was a little bit. They were after Ali. Holmes had reigned on the WBC end for a minute, but the WBA titles kept switching hands. Pinkland Thomas, and you had Tubbs, you had just everybody. Then Burbick, you had like everybody just Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Like just everybody kept getting their hands. As soon as they try to defend the belt, there's somebody that beat them. You know, but a lot of them dudes was out of shape though too. Like Greg Page. Was real talented, but then you look up, he over there like flabby and sick. Then you got
couldn't put the pipe down. Will couldn't put the pipe down.
Yeah, so I'm saying that to say we give these dudes flack nowadays. You know what I'm saying for not being in that greatest shape, but them dudes have the issues sometimes back in the day too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, man, John Ruiz did the same thing that Buster Douglas did.
Yeah,
you remember when he
belt?
He didn't end up getting in the ring all fat. I was like, man.
But anyway, changes you, bro. Yeah. Oh, this guy. This guy.
No, these are the last words, man.
Man. Nah, man.
Tank been quiet this week. He ain't really been
quiet.
He's on social media. I heard he cut off on his social media. He's in hibernation.
He trained for that Frank Martin fight. He know Martin's serious.
Well, I don't know about that, but you do know that this is Ramadan, right?
Yes. Yes.
So if he is actually practicing, then he has
to turn all that off. Yeah,
he's supposed to. And he got it until April 9th. you know,
Well, I'm actually happy about this fight, to be honest. I'm going to go to the event. I'm going to go to this fight because the undercard is stacked.
Which one is that? The Tank and Frank Martin?
Tank and Martin. Yeah, I'm going to that. Yeah, I'm
Where
going.
is this fight?
Is it T-Mobile?
T-Mobile.
Okay.
I'm going to that. But the fight that I want to see on the whole undercard, it's not even the Tank fight. I want to see Benavidez and Vazdik because I got Vazdik beating him.
Oh, that's on that card.
Yes, it's the co-main.
You think Vazdik is going to beat Benavidez?
I got Vazdik beating him.
All right, man. All right.
Vazdik, you guys, Val, you know who Vazdik is, right?
I know who he is, but he hasn't been.
Yeah.
I know how dangerous he is, and I think that Bitterbeef fight took a lot out of him. And even then, I think he hasn't been as active as I would have liked. And those 3 fights he's had in the last 2-3 years, I still don't think they prepare him for this level. Now at his best, like when he's on, I think he's dangerous, you know. But I haven't seen much from him. What I would like to see since that Bitterbeef fight, because this is still the same dude that hurt Adonis Stevenson.
Retired Superman Stevenson. Retired his ass.
Yeah,
and
retired.
with 11 hard rounds and was winning the fight against Beterbiev every time he got caught.
Yeah.
And Benavidez has never fought at 75. He's never fought there before.
You got
never
winning, so all right, I got you.
Yeah, see,
you can't just move weight classes and think you're just gonna go up here and just steamroll everybody because don't work like that.
Benavidez said he ain't Zerto.
Okay, we'll find out if you ain't Zerto. We'll find out. That's the beauty of boxing. We get to see it.
I got to see Vaz's last few fights. You know what I'm saying? Because he did take a long hiatus for a minute. But not even the fights that he's had recently, that could, not that he's fought at that level, he could have just been working on what he needed to work on in order to get himself back into some world-class shape. You know what I'm saying? He's going to put it all together in this one. Now, ideally, if he's anywhere the way he was when he fought against Better B and Superman, old boy gonna have his hands full. Like, that's gonna be a real challenging fight because the dude can box, man. He got a nice jab, he's strong. He got some know-how in that ring. And I don't think David has faced anybody that size with those qualities all together. So it will pose a challenge. That is a good fight, though. I don't know why the heck David. I know he got like strong belief in himself, but I don't think this fight is necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like the 48 laws of power, man. You don't. In some cases, and I admire his heart and his passion to want to fight the best. And sometimes people use that against you, though, where they're like, "Oh, you want to fight the best? Well, you can't beat him." And it's like, not that fight right there isn't one that you can't win. It might just not be at the right time. And I know, like right now, he's uber focused, but the other guy, that's a tough matchup right there. I can see him being able to make it real troubling. For David's sake, hopefully for David's sake, he's not where he was before. He's an older version of himself, and he can take advantage of that. Because if not, that is going to be a challenging fight at 175 and him fighting there for the first time. Last thing I'm going to say is I'm just used to seeing David, with the exception of Caleb Plant, fighting dudes who are typically smaller than he is. And so even the Plant fight, Plant isn't one of them dudes who going to put their foot down and be jabbing the mess out of you when you're trying to get up in there and then having some nice little counters and he like right there physically imposing. And I want to see how well you do with that pressure that you bring against a bigger dude consistently who can take your punches because they used to fight against bigger dudes. And how are you still going to have the speed on your stuff that you did at 168 when you put on those 7 pounds? Like, you might be a little bit slower. Are you going to be able to hurt the dude? I don't know. But they did say that David Benavidez back in the day, he used to be fighting all them big dudes. I forgot that Coyote, for whatever his name was, the cruiserweight he was fighting. He was little fighting against Triple G and all of them dudes. Benavidez, Bivol, you know, he said up in that gym. Abel Sanchez, he used to say he used to get busy up in there against them dudes. But we'll see, man. I'm glad that you mentioned that. That's going to be a nice little card right there. And then hopefully Frank Martin, he's in tip-top shape. And, he can give Tank a good run, so we can see what Tank will be able to do, in a fight that's really something that he's going to have to really dig down deep against somebody who has the tools, you know what I'm saying? Like different dimensions that he brings to the table. And we'll see what Tank can do. You got anything else, man, Vel, before we go ahead and wrap this one up?
No, sir.
Man, shout out to Shelton for always coming through. Shout out to Ty. And then shout out to anybody that's listening and checking us out on a weekly basis. We love you for that. Keep supporting. Also, if you want to go back and check the merch, you can go ahead and grab some of that. Don't cap, hit that Cashapp. On that note, we out. Peace.
Peace.
Let me do this. I got to get up out of here. And then I'm going to close this right here.